What's up everyone, my name is Guillaume and welcome to this new episode of Hit the Tone. Hello guys, I hope you're all doing fantastic today and welcome to this new episode of Hit the Tone on Thomann guitars and basses. If you're not familiar with the format, I'm taking bits of really famous riffs and try to give you all the tools you need to hit the tone. If you have any recommendations for me, please leave them in the comment section down below and I'll put the whole playlist in the description for you to check out. And without further ado, let's start with today's song, which is The Metal by Tenacious D. I've had quite a few comments asking for Tenacious D on this format, which I'm really happy about. I absolutely love them. The problem is, it's mostly acoustic stuff, right? And most of the kind of cool acoustic progressions and everything, it's mostly acoustic, some ripping solos in there, but the metal is the first sort of thing that came to my mind when I thought about, okay, Tenacious D, electric guitar. Straight off the bat, that riff is just absolutely insane. Now the problem is that the recording for that album is not so well documented guitar-wise, so I'm mostly going to base that off of the live versions that I've seen, and that was mostly being played on Gibson Les Pauls, Gibson SGs, medium to high output sort of humbucker territory. But I've also seen some P90s in there, which I was really happy about because we do have that guitar in the studio. That is a Harley Benton double cut kit that we modified throughout a bunch of videos. That was really cool. Go check them out. They'll probably be linked somewhere. Lola P90 in the bridge, which is what I'm going to be using for today. Really bitey, really punchy in the mids as well, so I think it's going to work perfectly. If you have anything that's medium to high output in the humbucker territory, that will do just fine as well. But this is my guitar. Let's have a look at the amp and pedal setup. Now it gets even trickier because from what I've seen, we're mostly talking about Mesa Boogies live, but I know for a fact that these are rarely being recorded on their own. So there might be a Mesa Boogie on the recording version as well, but there's that honkiness. There's a lot of mid-range. It's a very sweet sound that's really not reminiscent with Mesa Boogie at all. And we have seen some Marshall amps on stage as well. So I went for that, and I do believe that it's something in that sort of ballpark that was used to record the song. I'll be using the MK2 Studio. It's a mini plexi head, and the trick with those amps is just to gun the absolute life out of them. So everything is on 12 except for the bass and the presence. The presence because the treble is already on 10, so that's already a lot of treble, and the presence was basically treble in the power section of the amp was kind of all over the place. And the bass is just, there's already so much bass with the volume, like the sheer level of the amp, that was not necessary. And I'm gonna be boosting the front of it with the JHS Bonsai in the TS9 mode, just like you would boost a high gain amplifier. So drive all the way down, volume a little bit above noon, so is tone. And that's just to add that really creamy sort of mid-range. It's a very sweet sound, and I think that's gonna work just fine. I'm gonna give you the guitar into the amp first, and then I'll add on the pedal. And with the pedal, so I'm sure you heard that difference in between the before and after pedal. It just tightens the whole thing, and it wouldn't be necessary in every case scenario because it doesn't need to be so choppy in itself, but there's a lot of notes in that riff, so you want that extra precision and, you know, keep the low end very tidy. So that's what the pedal does, plus adding some of that tube screamery mid-range. Any green pedal will do the trick, I am sure. I'll link this one as well as a bunch of recommendations in the description box down below for you to check out. And now that we have our gear, let's jump onto the final part of that video, which as usual is the most important and is how to play the riff. And before we get started, a quick note as usual about the tuning. This song will be in E standard, so nothing complicated there. It's not a drop tuning, even though it's called the metal. It's not always in drop tunings. So that's going to be E standard all across, and we're going to start by having a look at the fretting side of it. Now it's a really cool riff, but it's not the easiest one either, even though you're mostly in that sort of power E position there, and then you play along with the 3rd and 2nd fret on the A and D string. There's quite a bit going on after that, even going from the F note to the 5th fret. That means using your pinky. It's not something that all guitar players are comfortable with, even more so when you start playing the instrument. So there might be a little bit of work on that. It's also a fairly fast kind of riff. It's pretty up-tempo, so you might want to just start by slowing it down, getting the phrasing right on your left hand, and then progressively speeding it back up, and I'm sure you'll be just fine with it. It's a really fun riff to play. But with that in mind, let's have a look at the picking side of it. Now the picking side of it is definitely a lot simpler. You're going to basically just be going from alternate picking to down picking only. There's a bit of getting used to in there, mostly to be clean on the single string picking, because it's easy to get a little bit too noisy with that kind of gain staging. But again, I think if you start slow and you focus on very specific phrases within the riff, and most notably I'm talking about the single string pick like the, or the second one, and I'm sure you're going to be just fine with that. But with that said, I think that's it, guys. You have all the tools you need to hit the tone on the metal by Tenacious D. I really hope that you had fun with that video. I hope you had fun learning that riff. It's a really cool one to play. So is everything by Tenacious D anyway, so I'll be covering some more soon, I'm sure. But if you did enjoy that video, please do let me know in the comment section. Drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to let me know which song you'd like me to cover next. I'll get to you as soon as I can. In the meantime, I wish you all a fantastic week, and I'll see you next Monday in a new episode of Hit the Tone.